Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Run in the Paint recap. Today is Wednesday, May 6th. I'm Miles here with Ben and Joey. Guys, how are you doing today?
Feeling good, feeling great. Another great night of basketball, but unfortunate did might not have gone our way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
at
that,
least for us Cavs fans on the podcast. But overall, if you're for the normal NBA fan, I mean, great. It was another fun night, an interesting night of basketball.
yeah, absolutely.
Let's get right into it. We had two more semifinal series kick off here on a Tuesday night, starting off with game one between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Detroit Pistons. That the Pistons were able to get the victory 111 to 101 to take the 1-0 lead. Their fourth straight playoff victory. Of course, won their final three games against Orlando to come back in that first round series. Come here on a very quick turnaround after that series and put up a very solid defensive performance against the Cavaliers. Joey, of course, this was a very good performance from Detroit to get the victory in this one. And it's hard to look at any other numbers than the turnovers that they forced on the Cavs side of things. 19
Oh,
turnovers from Cleveland, which resulted in, I believe, something around 30 points.
that it's just they Detroit was clearly watching film on the Toronto Cavs series because that's exactly how the Raptors won all those games that they did. Is they forced Harden and the rest of the Cavs into just all these turnovers, and based off of how Detroit ended the last series, their defense is just as stifling, if not more so. And here we are, first game, just executed the game plan to perfection. Forced the turnovers, 30 points off of that. Like, even if you cut down that to half, you're looking at a Cavs win. But Detroit just played fantastic, and I'm still looking at Asar Thompson, the leader of that defense. Him and Jalen Duren on the inside as well. Just fantastic defensive performances out of those guys. But everybody stepped up. Duncan Robinson, I saw, was staying in front of people, which was kind of crazy. Dennis Jenkins off the bench had a great game, offensively and defensively, having to guard some of the tougher guys. But again, Kate Cunningham, the star, had a fantastic game, and to me, that was just a great defensive performance out of Detroit.
Ben, what were your overall thoughts? I mean, obviously the turnovers were a big factor in this one, but were there any other areas of the game that you think swayed it?
Uh, I mean, turnovers for sure. 19, the Cavs, had less of the turnovers, and they would have had a better chance. But yeah, just overall, the I would have liked more aggressiveness with driving to the basket at times from the Cavs. Maybe could have swayed it a bit more towards the Cavs. They did that more at other points of the game. There a few times where they did, drive to the basket multiple times and it worked good. And I know once Allen, had those free fouls in the first quarter that, and, made it difficult to line up things. But I thought Kenny, though, could have still did better with the rotations. I mean, I thought I was I thought he could have put an Allen towards the end of the first half, like the last few minutes there. We could have been all right. We could have used him more then, at least my opinion. And it's and I would have liked Tyson playing more of an 18 minutes. He gets some good impact, some good hustle, and Struess. He played well off the bench. I would have just liked some more minutes maybe from him, and just I don't know why Allen only played 18 minutes. I know he had foul trouble, but it's still surprising me, even with the foul trouble, that not have him in there for some more minutes. But yeah, just it's just like too much experimenting with the lineup. See, I know it's a new series and all, but you should be more confident about what can work than that.
Well, I think going into the series, that was something to expect with this Cavalier team. I mean, I personally don't have a problem with that because I think that's what game one on the road gives you the leeway to experiment with different things and see what players can fit the series, what players can fit this individual matchup more than they fit, the Toronto series. Like Keon Ellis played more in this game, and I thought he was pretty good in this game. Came in later in the first half. They had to play Thomas Bryant in this game because of the foul trouble to Jared Allen. Sam Merrill had an injury early in the first half and then came out for the rest of the game. So with the foul trouble and it being the first game against a new opponent with different personnel, yeah, I mean, experiment with different players. I personally agree with the choice to try out some different players to see what fits in the matchup. And, overall, I mean, the Cavaliers were in this game until the fourth quarter. I think the reasons that they lost this game, again, were turnovers down the stretch, and they had some rough offensive rebound possessions down the stretch. And personally, I don't think that the rotation would have changes that. Like the players who played, like James Harden, it's not like he played enough minutes and he had a bunch of turnovers. I don't think that increasing any of these other minutes would have helped them in this particular game. They just kept turning the ball over.
I don't know if I like that. This isn't like a different team though that we're playing. We've played this team 4 times, twice in the last month of the season when we had people and we were still working out rotations and stuff. Like he should. It's the playoffs, and this is a team that's 2 hours away. Like we've played them enough.
Never with a healthy roster. They've never. That's the thing heading into the playoffs. They never had the full roster available.
Okay, but a lot of the rotation issues are with the backups who played most of those and have played comfortable minutes against the Detroit Pistons. I'm very questioned. I'm questioning Kenny's rotations, and I have kind of all year. It's been one of the things that's bugged me a lot of the times, but I don't know. You should have had this kind of figured out by now. You were looking at the Detroit Pistons. I would have seen hopefully a more well balanced like kind of game or executed game plan. I know it's on the road and it's tough, but when it comes to rotations, that's not something you should be figuring out on the fly. That's something like, yeah, you can make adjustments to it, but the game plan should be kind of already put together by playoffs.
And again, I think they had a game plan that got screwed over because Allen got in foul trouble and Merrill got hurt. So naturally, you have to adjust.
But again, that's why I'm with Ben on this. Like, why didn't you play Jared? You could have. He ended the game with 4 fouls. Put him in the fourth quarter or something like that. Put him in at certain times and still try him out. It's not like he had 5 fouls and you put him in and he gets 1 bad foul and he's out. No, if it's at the end of the fourth quarter or end of the half, like Ben said, and he somehow gets a stupid foul, then okay, yeah, I probably should take him out again. But if he doesn't, that's a huge plus. Like that's like the questioning things. I just makes me mad. It's things I saw
that I agree with.
Year. Yeah,
the Jared Allen thing at the end, I agree with. I think the reason that they went away from it is because Strus was having such a good game, and Dean Wade is a key defender on Cade Cunningham, who didn't have a good shooting game. By the way, this was something we talked about heading into the series, where how Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren haven't had the best performances against the Cavs efficiency-wise, and they didn't in this game. They went 10 for 30 from the field. So it was just the role players that stepped up for Detroit, which credit them. I mean, another big game from Tobias Harris with 20 points, Duncan Robinson, big offensive game with 19 points. I just think Kenny Atkinson, I agree that I wish that he went bigger down the stretch because I think in this particular matchup, it does work the best to go big. But I think when you have Harden and Mitchell, who both have to be on the floor at the end of the game, Strus is having a great game, and Dean Wade's having your best defensive performance on Cade Cunningham, it's tough to sit any of those guys. And then between Mobley and Allen, one of the things that Mobley can do, which Allen can't do, is that he can bring the ball up when they're top blocking these guards. Like Mobley can handle the ball and be the play initiator, which Jared Allen can't do. So for that reason, that's why they go to Mobley more at the 5 to close games than Jared Allen. And that's why they went to it in this game. But I do agree. I wish Jared Allen played more in this game, and I definitely expect to see more of him going forward in the series.
He was critical in that Game 7 against the Raptors. It's just, it sucks that this is how we get a Game 1 performance.
Yeah, but like I kind of talked about heading into the series, this is kind of the luxury you have of going into Game 1 on the road. This would be a lot more of a problem if this was at home and they dropped one of the games. And this is something that like Cavalier fans and the Cavaliers team is not really used to having that type of game. Like this is what they're now 4th year of being in the playoffs together. This is just their second series where they haven't had home court to start the series. That most of the time they have to have Game 1. They have the pressure of needing to win that first game in a series. Didn't necessarily have to in this series. You have the leeway to kind of see what players can fit in. I expect a much more shorter rotation in Game 2, and this is what you see from coaches throughout a series. Like it's not like JB Bickerstaff was doing similar things in the Magic series in the first round. I think he was doing similar things in this game, playing Javonte Green, Karis LeVert, Ron Holland are always those bubble guys where you're never sure how many minutes they're actually going to get. And, they do the same thing. So it's just, I think it's everything gets magnified when you lose the game. And at the end of the day, besides the first quarter, they played well enough to win the game. They just had a bad first quarter and they kept turning the ball over.
True.
But the turnovers is definitely a key thing. I mean, the two stats that I saw after the game were that James Harden, I don't know the exact number, but however many turnovers he has is the most turnovers through 8 games in the league or something. He leads the league in turnovers. And the Cavaliers as a team for total team turnovers is the most turnovers in the first 8 playoff games since they started tracking that 30 years ago. So it's definitely the Achilles heel for this team is needing to take care of the basketball. But on the bright side of things, I thought that a lot of the turnovers that the Cavs had and that James Harden had in particular were just unforced errors that they can correct going forward.
Can they though? I don't know. I don't think they really
there's no question they can. It's just will they, which is a question about everything.
That is the truth, actually. Yeah, no, they can, but they won't because I don't know. They're the Cavs and it's James Harden in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Joey's upset. He's not feeling good. We'll see. We'll see if the Cavs can respond in Game 2. They have had the one year where they didn't have home court advantage, the Boston series a couple of years ago. They did win Game 2 on the road, and besides like the Raptors series this first round, they do have a decent track record of at least taking a road game. So we'll see what happens going forward. As far as the other Game 1 that kicked off last night, Game 1 between the Lakers and the Thunder, where OKC took care of business, winning 108-90, winning by 18 points in a game where it felt like, we were talking in the pre-pod lobby, it felt like the Lakers played a fine game, but in the end, the Thunder won this game going ahead.
It's almost kind of how the way you were talking about the Cavs in this Game 1, where it's like you have the leeway, but let's find out some things. And it's kind of what it is like for the Lakers. It's like, hey, you're going to Oklahoma City, clearly the best team for the last 2 years by far and away. You're not expected to win, but they played really, really well. Like the concerns we had and everyone has had is about the defense, and their defense was good. They played really, really good team defense. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, we talk about the 20-plus point game streak that he had in the regular season. He didn't even score 20 tonight. That is miraculous, actually. So and he had 7 turnovers. Like, their defense was phenomenal by the Lakers. It's just unfortunate that you're at OKC. It's their home. Their role players are going to play better, and AJ Mitchell played fantastic.
Yeah, Ben, AJ Mitchell had a big game, 18, but I mean, Chet Holmgren, my goodness, he was a monster in this game on both ends.
Yeah, Chet, I think his size was giving the Lakers trouble when the Lakers were around him at both ends of the court. But overall, JJ Redick, he had some good game planning stuff. His defensive game plan was a good one for this game. I was impressed with how they guarded Shea and forced him to turn over the ball a lot. And I mean, the Lakers, you get some more points, going offensively if we give LeBron some more help. Like LeBron scored well today. That was, some encouraging stuff from LeBron, but like Austin Reeves, they definitely need more of him. I think Reeves, he can, maybe be a bit more aggressive at times going to the hoop, though. I mean, Thunder, they're a good defensive team. It's not easy against them, but they could use that. They could get it from him, and just, the Lakers continue to play like a good defense at OKC. They just get some more scoring offensively. I wouldn't be surprised if they stole at least one game in the series. I think JJ Redick, is a good coach over there, and the Lakers maybe could have the Lakers could maybe have some more adjustments somehow they come up with possibly, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like again, they had a very good defensive game, but I mean, their offense, it's kind of their offense is the biggest concern in this series because of how good the Thunder defense is. And you saw that particularly with the backcourt of both Austin Reeves, who went 3 of 16 from the field, and Marcus Smart, who played like Marcus Dumb today, 4 15 from the field, 2 for 8 from 3, had some brutal turnovers and brutal shot selections. I thought he had a pretty, rough game against the Thunder defense. And I mean, the bottom line is like they're not going to have a chance if both of them are having bad games, especially Reeves. Like Reeves, they cannot afford for Reeves to go 3 for 16. And like, they lost by 18, and LeBron had a great offensive game. Scoring the ball. Like it's just going to be really tough, man, for them in this series.
It's very encouraging for the Lakers that was their issue. That Austin Reeves is. It might not be encouraging actually because he hasn't looked good since he's come back. He really hasn't gotten it going, and that was kind of a concern. Did he come back too early? Maybe something's still bugging him. But I think I think you are right. He just needs to be more aggressive. Like 3 for 16, he finished with what, 8 points?
Yeah.
Like that's, oh my goodness! At least get to the free throw line.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think he was being aggressive enough. Like, of course, you could always be a little bit more aggressive, but this Thunder defense, like, I think that deserves a lot of the credit. Like, Austin Reeves has not been good against the Thunder this year. Like, this is a matchup thing because OKC is so good defensively, and when Reeves is a very good offensive player. He's one of my favorite players to watch in the league. But when he's going up against a defense that is essentially geared to stop him at the guard position, it's not going to end well, and we saw that in this game.
Yeah. Bottom line is, if the Lakers have any chance, they're going to want Luka back. They need some offense desperately.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I mean, stick to your defensive game plan and get the ball out of Shea's hand and hope that they not all these other guys are knocking down threes. But at the same time, Jared McCain got some wide open looks in the fourth quarter. He went off. He really helped them blow the lead open because this wasn't like this was like a 5-6 point game in the third quarter. Like this was never really a blowout until like the final 4 minutes. I thought the Lakers overall did a fine job of keeping it interesting for a little bit, but also like not really. Like they didn't get completely destroyed in the game, which I think in this series that's a fine job by them.
Completely agree.
But yeah, man, those are all the game ones from last night. We'd already recapped the 2 game ones from the 2 other series on a Monday night, and those series are continuing here tonight on Wednesday. Both games on ESPN. So let's start looking ahead to them. 7 p.m. Game 2 between the Knicks and the Sixers after New York. Oh my. That 39-point victory in game 1, Joey. The 4th straight blowout victory for the New York Knicks. What did you see from them in this incredible performance?
Just fantastic basketball. Like they're kind of killing it. Even look at that. Towns didn't even score that much, and they blew them out. But he was efficient. Like them being OG Anunoby said for it, the Knicks are just clicking on all cylinders. And if the Sixers don't have it going from their stars, which it didn't happen because the Knicks defense is pretty good as well, it's going to be a rough series. The Sixers need to get it going. They need to pray maybe Brunson doesn't just catch fire as like that, because he's pretty incredible, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben, we talked about it last night, how it kind of felt like it was way too easy for New York on both ends of the floor. They were getting whatever they wanted offensively, and they were forcing up shots that they were going to live with on the Sixers side of things. So what does Philadelphia need to do here to try and bounce back and tie this series up tonight?
Well, what you just brought up, just play, tougher defense. I think, the big things you want to adjust with your the 76ers is just the defense, allowing them to force them into more tough shots and to have a better idea who you want your guys on the defensive end matching up with. Like, I think, as we saw from game 1, VJ just gonna had a hard time on Brunson. If I were them, I think they should maybe try Kelly Oubre on him, see if that could go any good, and just they just gotta they just gotta force the Knicks to just be more uncomfortable, basically offensively, and obviously on offense, hope just Embiid can get back to looking more dominant there. But there was, some good signs, as we talked about in the recap too, that Embiid did force Robinson, Towns into some foul trouble, and you want to hope that could work again, while also hoping just for getting more shots to fall and getting more back to what you looked like from your big games that you had in the Celtics series.
Yeah, I think that as far as Jalen Brunson goes, I mean, I think it's just going to be one of those matchups where the Sixers, I just think the game plan is going to be Brunson, you score all the points, and we stop everybody else. Because, they started with Edgecombe. Oubre was guarding him later. Paul George was on him for some switch. It didn't matter, man. It did not matter. They tried everyone. They tried Justin Edwards. They tried Quentin Grimes. They literally tried everything, and Brunson was just making incredible shots. And I think that there is a world where Philadelphia can win some games in this series if Brunson is going off, but Towns and Anunoby and Bridges and Hart are struggling. Like, that's happened, but we've seen it happen before. That might be what the game plan is here. The problem in this game was that Brunson went off, but basically so did everyone else for 17 plus performances on 7 for 8 for Anunoby, 7 for 11 from Towns, 7 for 10 from Bridges. Like, you just can't allow that to happen from all four of those guys. Like, it's got to be one of those guys, and you stop the other three.
Yeah, I think it might be a very similar game plan to how the Cavs are going to have to let Detroit get. Let Cade's going to get his, but kind of make sure you stop everybody else. Hey, Brunson is going to score any which way he wants. It's going to look miraculous at some points, but you got to stop everybody else. Everybody, like you said, 7 for 8, 7 and 11. That's 7 for 10. It's way too efficient. You got to make that at least maybe 7 for 15 or 7 for 14 or something like that. You got to at least force some difficult shots.
Yeah, looking at it right now, I'm doing the math. I think the Knicks starting lineup shot 36 for 54 from the field, which is 67%. So that's just really good from the Knicks. But like we've seen in the last series, it's just one game and anything can happen here. Again, Philadelphia won their Boston series when they had two 30-point losses in the series. But this is a crucial game here in Game 2, guys. What do we think? Can the Sixers tie it up after tomorrow night or after tonight, or will New York be up 2-0? What do you guys think?
I'll be honest. I probably am going to pick the Knicks. I think the Knicks, they just showed way too much. Them at home, I feel like that's an easy pick. I think I got to go New York.
Yeah.
Ben, what do you think?
I think I got to go New York again, too. I think New York will just, just smarter this basketball and offense than like the Celtics were doing against the 76ers. And Brunson is just going to have another good game fight, I guess. And I think the Sixers will play a bit better. I expect them to look better, but I still think the Knicks will just, make, the big plays later on in the second half that matters the most to help them pull ahead and they win another one to go up 2-0.
Yeah, of course, I think that's probably the right choice. I don't know, man. I'm feeling like the Sixers are going to find a way to split the first two games. That's what I thought coming into the series, was that they'd split the first two games and we'd see what would happen in Philadelphia. But, it is kind of hard to tell. The Knicks have been playing so hot. Like, their shooting has been unbelievable. Like, their last three games, they're shooting 57%, 59%, and 63% from the field, all like nearly 40% from three. And in game one, they shot 51%. So you wonder if this is a case where, they're so hot and they are going to keep it going, or are they due for a cold shooting game? Like, are they just due to slow down at some point? And I feel like it has to happen soon because they have been ridiculously hot recently. Right now, I'm going to say the Sixers are going to win, but that might change by tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I think that I'm with the cold streak coming in, but unfortunately, they're still at MSG. I think maybe when they go to Philly, they could go on a cold streak, but MSG and that crowd, it's too much. Even if they're cold, they're going to keep yelling at them to shoot it and get them right back going.
See, the problem is, though, the road games are in Madison Square Garden East in Philly. Like, all the Knicks fans will be there anyway, so it'll still feel like that. So
yeah,
I don't know.
You might be right.
We'll see. We'll definitely see. Game 2, Sixers Knicks tonight, 7 p.m. on ESPN. Then right after that at 9:30, Game 2 of the Wolves-Spurs, where San Antonio, the team down 1-0, looking to try to avoid going down 2-0 to this incredible Timberwolves team after they picked up that ridiculous road win in Game 1. Joey, what did you see from the game, and what are you going to be looking ahead to here for Game 2?
Oh, man. Like we talked about it in the pre-pod lobby, Wemby did not have a great game in kind of most aspects, or in just the way we've seen him play, but he still had just a historic night with 12 triple-double. So he's just unreal still. But what a game from the Timberwolves, just as a team. Julius Randle obviously top in the scoring. If you're the Spurs, you can't let that happen. But you'll live with it, I guess, if you're the Spurs as well, because you know it's probably not going to happen a whole lot. But what a win for the Timberwolves. Like, honestly, I'm huge to just steal one at home. That's or away. That's just huge. So going into game two, even if you lose, just try not to get blown out. To be honest, like you're already in good aspects. Just keep feeling loose. Keep feeling like you're doing what you're doing. Kind of go with the same game plan. Kind of hope Wemby has like a really bad game and the next best guy is Derek Hart is Harper, like Dylan Harper. Like that's like I guess like a solid game plan. Like it worked really well the first time.
Ben, what are you looking to see from the Spurs in this next game, and particularly Victor Wembanyama, who didn't look that good offensively again going up against Rudy Gobert, but obviously an incredible superstar young player here. You'd expect him to use this one game, look at the film, and bounce back here in game two. What do you expect to see from Wemby here in his first game, really facing adversity in his playoff career?
Yeah, I mean, this is Wemby's, first playoff run, so it's tough for him, even with, how dominant he can make out. So look to us, of course. But I think, he did have a rough shooting night in game one. That didn't help. And I think, if Wemby is just aggressive in the game two and he's getting more of the shots to fall in, then I think, that just sets up the Spurs a better chance to win. I think, if Wemby didn't have a cold night game one, that they could have took game one. So just Wemby's got to be hoping he's more hotter and can just, look, to just offensively to just get around Gobert better down low as well. And De'Aaron Foxen he struggled too. Just gotta hope they're more efficient offensively and more shots are falling early for the whole Spurs team, and they, just are more efficient offensively, and they play pretty well on defense like they did in the first game. Then, they would like their chances to win game two, but absolutely can't afford to go down 2-0 though.
No, especially since against a Timberwolves team that looked so dominant at home in the Denver series in round one, even with
Yeah.
the injuries that they've been facing. I think I look for the Spurs to try to get Wemby involved, moving a little bit more, like get it to him while he's moving, going to the rim more. Like I thought that he was 0 for 8 from three, and on a lot of those attempts, I thought that he settled for some of those looks. So I look for them to try to get some cross matches, whether it's in the post or just curls to the basket. But I look to try to get him the ball with some movement and him running, getting towards the basket. And like we talked about on the recap last night, just hope that both him and Fox can get it going, because this was a clear example here. Like it felt like all their role players had strong impacts on the game as far as scoring wise. But it's going to be hard to win games when your first two guys aren't performing up to their level.
Yeah, for sure. But like Ben said, this is their first kind of trip to the postseason with on a big playoff run. So, and going against a team like the Timberwolves, who made it to the conference finals the last couple of years, uh, it's very much showing that they're still new to this. This is now there's a learning curve, but I'm kind of with Ben. I don't expect that out of Wemby twice, 2 games in a row.
Yeah, so sounds like we all think that the Spurs are going to tie things up here in Game 2 tonight. But if what does Minnesota need to do here to try to steal both games? The Spurs are going to come out ready to go here. They're not going to want to go down 0-2 like we said, and they've been such a dominant team all year. So, Ben, what do you look for the Timberwolves to try and do here to steal both in San Antonio?
I think they have to just make sure they're moving. That they have to make sure they're just like even more efficient themselves on offense. They didn't totally have the best efficiency game in game 1 to themselves. It was a more so defensive game in game 1, and Edwards came off the bench. He only had 18 points, but of course, like we'd love to see it going if he went off, had like maybe around 30 points. That could boost. Edwards gets more rhythm like that in game 2. That could make it scarier to the Timberwolves. I mean to the Spurs, and just make sure the ball's moving good and hope shots are falling. Really, that's what I got with them.
Yep. So we'll see. We'll see what we get out of these two teams here in Game 2 tonight. Again, 9:30 on ESPN. I'm really looking forward to this one because in Game 1, this is a pretty star-powered series. When looking at just looking at Victor Wembanyama and Anthony Edwards, and even the co-stars with Randall and De'Aaron Fox. And in this game, we didn't get any wow superstar performances besides Wemby with the 12 blocks. But we didn't get any of those wow, this was a crazy performance by this guy. And I'm expecting to see one, shortly here in this series. And that definitely could come here tonight. So we'll see what happens in Game 2. But that's all we got here for the games here tonight. You guys have anything else before we get out of here?
For the Spurs, I want to see some desperation. Because, we said, you cannot go down 2-0 to this team. They've been to past 2 conference finals, and like you said, they've been dominant at home. You can't, if you go down 2-0, series might be over.
Probably. So we'll see if the Spurs can do it. Oh my goodness, I would be absolutely I'd be floored, stunned, whatever you want to say if Minnesota won both games. I don't know what there would be. We'll see what.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But hopefully we get some close games because we didn't. I mean, both of these games, like the Cavs game, got close down the final minutes. Lakers game was close, in the third quarter, but we didn't have any down to the wire finishes. We had one in the Wolves-Spurs game in Game 1. Hopefully we can get something here tonight. But that's it for us here. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe for more NBA playoff content. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the games tonight, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.